At the All India Safe Education Committee AISEC State Level Education Convention held at Gandhi Bhavan, Bengaluru, dignitaries presented a survey report on NEP 2020 and the draft Alternative People's Education Policy for Karnataka to Shri Allama Prabhu Bettadur. V.N. Rajshekhar, State Vice President of the AISEC, highlighted key survey findings including the rejection of the 4-year degree by 94.5% of students and lecturers. During the event, Professor Victor Lobo, Vice Chancellor of the St. Joseph's University, emphasized the need for Karnataka's education policy to be democratic, secular and scientific. Professor Savita Bannadi, a Chief Guest and Literature Kannada professor, criticized the implementation of NEP 2020, pointing out its adverse effects on graduate education. Professor Tarun Kanti Naskar, the All India General Secretary of the AISEC, labelled NEP 2020 as anti-national education policy, expressing concern about its centralization, privatization and communalization. Dr. Francis Assisi Almeida, an educationist, stressed the ongoing struggle for a pro-people education policy in Karnataka. The program was presided over by Shri Allama Prabhu Bettadur, the State President of AISEC, with V.N. Rajshekhar moderating. State Secretary Mahesh S.G., Scientist R.L. Mauryan, Professor Somashekharappa and numerous lecturers and students from graduate colleges actively participated in the conference. The delegation led by Shri Bettaduru later met the State Education Policy Draft Committee to submit the documents and discuss the proposed policies.
National education policy is very disastrous. It is going to destroy the whole education, right from pre-primary up to the highest level. So, due to the public pressure, the Congress party here in the election manifesto, they were forced to tell that if we come to power, we will not implement NEP. So then, after coming to power, again we saw they started dilly-dallying on the question of abolition, meaning giving up NEP. So we organized at the July 28th convention to evolve a pro-people education policy. So our initiative was now if a concrete proposal is not kept, what is the alternative? NEP we don't want, but what is the alternative? Many people used to ask us, NEP 2020 is very worst, but do you mean to say that earlier was good? That is a 1986 policy. Even the 1986 policy, our All India Safe Education Committee, this committee developed in our fight against the NEP 1986. Even in that policy, there are a lot of problems. Like 1986 policy, for the first time they told higher education is not the responsibility of the government. Then we saw the all-out commercialization of higher education. Now the NEP 2020, from pre-primary up to highest level, they want to commercialize. Along with that, they want to communalize the education. That is a very dangerous thing that's happening.
The national education policy, what the central government is going to introduce, on this background, it should be remembered that education is on concurrent list. So there is a responsibility of the state governments. So if any state government adopt any alternative policy, there is no wrong in it. This is one question. Another question is that the central government through the national education policy is out to completely disrupt the entire government funded education, and there will be completely privatization and commercialization of education, and all the communities, that means the minority communities, the Muslim communities, the Christian communities, the SC, ST and all the marginalized section, they will be thrown out of education by this education policy.
गवर्नमेंट ने जो इससे पहले वाली सरकार जो थी उसने NEP इम्प्लीमेंट किया था, उसके ऊपर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का प्रेशर था, लेकिन अभी जो है हमारी जो लास्ट कॉन्फ्रेंस, हमारी स्टेट कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी लास्ट टाइम इसी गांधी भवन में, उसमें 3 मिनिस्टर्स लोग आए थे, प्राइमरी, हायर एजुकेशन, एंड दे ऑल प्रॉमिस्ड दैट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू इम्प्लीमेंट, हम इस पॉलिसी को लागू नहीं करेंगे। उसीलिए उन्होंने हमसे रिक्वेस्ट किया था कि हमारा जो ये कमेटी है कर्नाटक का, ये कोई रिकमेंडेशन बनाए, अल्टरनेटिव पॉलिसी बनाए। तो हमने उसी हिसाब से डिस्कशन करने के बाद हमने लेक्चरर, प्रोफेसर, एकेडमिशियन, जितने भी कंसर्न हैं, जो भी इससे एजुकेशन से रिलेटेड जुड़े हुए हैं, हमने सबसे आइडिया लेकर के एक अपना पॉलिसी तैयार किया है, जिसको हम प्रो पीपल या लोगों को समर्थित पॉलिसी बनाया है। और उस पॉलिसी को आज हम चेयरमैन को सबमिट करने जा रहे हैं।